Hi, everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Allie, and I am the hostess of Heart and Soul Connected. And I'm doing some of these videos, preparing them so that when I am out and about, they can be scheduled to go so you can see my face once in a while. So welcome to my new subscribers as well. And do you know we have a membership? Check it out if you're interested. Speaking of memberships, this was discussed at a membership meeting that I had this month. So those folks already have heard all of this before. So I just want you to know, if you're starting to watch this, that this is almost the same thing. I just waited a while before I shared it with everyone. So I'm going to talk about 10 steps to practice radical acceptance. What is radical acceptance? It's a skill, actually. It's something that you have to work on. It is a focus on acknowledging and accepting now the reality we're in rather than fighting against it. And it helps reduce our emotional suffering and increases our resilience when we have to face difficulties. All of us have had to use radical acceptance or try to assimilate that into our world, in the world we're currently living in 2025. Some of us have also lived quite a while and had to let go of folks that passed, and animals we've had to watch pass as well. And nobody wants to accept the fact that they are gone, and it's very difficult to move on. But at the same time, by practicing radical acceptance in many cases, it will help with your emotional dealings and to become a little more resilient to whatever comes up, because there are a lot of people that don't want things to change, or they want the things that are already occurring to go away, and there's no ability to not focus on that. And so I'm going to give you a few tips in order to do that might help you. But remember, it's a skill. And that doesn't mean that it's something you automatically will be able to do all the time, because we are humans and we fall into old patterns. So you got that to think about as well. So the first part of radical acceptance is observe any resistance you have to something in your world that's coming up. Let's say, for instance, you're going to have guests, and you have to get your home sort of picked up and cleaned, and the bed's changed, things like that. It's kind of unnerving, and you're kind of in emotional turmoil. But just accept the fact that your guests usually are very kind and loving people who would probably feel the same way. So instead of worrying about it so much, just know that whatever needs to get done will get done, and it's right timing, and just let go of the stress of worry, because the worry is holding you back. Other examples might be something like fighting against reality with, well, it shouldn't be this way, and it isn't fair, and I don't understand why everybody else gets to get what I want, and I don't get it. And it's okay to feel frustration. It's okay to wallow. You don't want to wallow. It's all right to maybe say it, but to move away from it and say, you know what? All it is right now, this moment. It doesn't mean that tomorrow or the day after or a year after it's ever going to be the same. You can get through it in short stints, in other words. And yes, some things in life aren't fair. It's okay. It's really okay. It really is. The second one is to acknowledge your reality. Then, that's what I'm saying. Maybe it isn't fair. And then you move on. Remember that the painful reality is what it is, even if it's not liked or you wish it were different. That's kind of the way I have to look at certain leadership in this country, and other things that I have not been real happy about having to adjust to in that realm. Use coping statements like, well, it is what it is, or I can't change what has already happened. I had to do this when my husband became sick and we had to close his office. He can't work anymore. It is what it is. I can't change what has happened to him and his abilities. And so I have to do some radical acceptance of the situation, even though I have days where I might say, but it really makes me feel better just to accept it. It truly does. Number 3, understand what the causes of your suffering are. Acknowledge that a series of events or factors have led you to this certain situation or this what's going on in your world. This helps detach the blame and move toward a more objective view. When you have an objective view, you're above it. You look down, not snotty above it, but you're looking down from above, and you're looking at it not in a personal way, but in an objective way. And you're saying to yourself, okay, yeah, I can see that. I guess that would happen in that circumstance. Sometimes you can't find the reasoning till after many days, years, whatever. It can happen. Maybe that's why I lost that job. Maybe that's why I got divorced. Maybe that's why this happened. Number 4, practice your acceptance with your whole self. Don't be wishy-washy. Make the decision to use your whole self. Engage your mind, body, and spirit in accepting the situation. Use mindfulness techniques like deep breathing or practicing willing hands. It's like I surrender, right? That's what people do when they're being asked to give themselves up. But I also open my arms to receive whatever it is that the universe has for me, special for me. Okay. Also, it says relax your mind and body by sitting with your palms up in your lap and doing some breathing in from your nose and then gently breathing out, not fast breathing. Like that. Number 5, act as if. Act as if you've already accepted it, even if you're still trying to do it. Identify the behaviors that would be engaged if the situation had already been accepted, and then act accordingly. You may not like it. You may not want to accept it. But once you accept it, you can project how you would feel and how you would move forward. And it also allows you, if possible, to come up with a solution if there is one. Because you're taking this high energy resistance, pushing, and you're opening up the door and letting the floodgates out. And those are your emotions, your tears, and other things, your anger. Number 6, imagine accepting the unacceptable. Mentally rehearse what would be done if you believed what you don't want to accept, imagining how you would cope effectively. There are people whose spiritual or religious beliefs are so strongly ingrained in their tradition that they have forgiven murderers and rapists of their children and family members. That takes a special, special, special kind of person. That is radical acceptance in its highest form. However, how would you cope if it was something that you couldn't change, but you had to deal with? Let's say somebody owed you a lot of money and they're out of a job and they can't pay you back. Maybe they'll never pay you back. How would you act accordingly if that was the case? Well, probably the first thing you'd say is, I'm never doing that again. But besides that, you'd have to say, okay, that was a gift, and it was put in the hands of somebody, and that person will no doubt have to also bestow a gift as well at some point to someone else and help them, and let it go. Sounds easier than said than done. I know. I am working on this too, as I said. The next one is notice your bodily sensations. Pay attention to how your body feels when you're thinking about the situation. And then allow the tension or discomfort to arise and let it go. Make it go. And know that, and bring yourself the peace of mind that comes with it. Allow your emotions to flow is number 8. Recognize and allow yourself to feel these painful emotions, such as disappointment, sadness, or grief, without judging or suppressing them. So you have a person that's supposed to come visit you for the summer, let's say, and the person can't come for lots and lots of different reasons. And you totally understand, and you admire them for their choice, and you really feel really good about it. But you're sad because you were planning on them coming and you feel badly about it. But you don't want them to feel any worse than they already feel about it. So you have to not suppress it in your own world by saying, oh, I'm so disappointed, but I understand totally. I understand. We've all been in one of those situations, one at least, many more probably. Find hope and meaning in anything that brings you sadness or grief or disappointment, and allow yourself to recognize that life is still worth living and things will get better eventually. And finally, analyze the pros and cons. If you're still feeling the resistance, make a list, pro, con, write all the pros about the situation, write all the cons. You may have a whole bunch of cons, but at least maybe one pro. If it was the situation where the person couldn't come, but had a lot of things they were dealing with, then what you're doing is being a real friend to that person. And that's a pro. You're not making them feel badly. You're understanding them and what they're going through. The cons may be, I had a ticket to this. I wish we could have done that. I wanted to talk about this. We were going to go here. It doesn't matter. Let it go. Let it go. Couple of reminders. It takes time and practice, as I've said. Be patient and compassionate with yourself as well while you're trying to do this. It doesn't mean approving of or agreeing to any negative situation at all. Nor does it mean being passive, giving up on change when appropriate. It's about acknowledging reality so you can respond effectively and move forward. That's probably the most important part. Acknowledge the reality so you can move forward. Radical acceptance is not a replacement for taking actions in situations where changes can be made by you or others, like leaving an abusive relationship, advocating for fairer treatment. It's about accepting what's beyond your control and focusing on energy on which you can influence that control. I am not a psychotherapist, and this is just a small bit of information. There are books out there you can read on this topic. I felt it was an important one. I hope you enjoyed hearing about it and that you can find your way to radical acceptance. But if not, and you're going through turmoil, make sure you seek the help of a counselor anytime that you're feeling you are not in control, because this is for entertainment purposes only. Thank you so much for being here today. Namaste and bless every one of you. Thank you. Bye-bye.